Welcome to the stream, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. If you're new to my channel, you're going to love this channel. If you love Trump, you're really going to love this channel. If you don't love Trump, subscribe, watch my videos, and you will. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but you will eventually wake up and realize Trump's the man that we should all be supporting. Well, welcome. I got a lot going on. There's a lot to cover on the stream this morning, and I'm going to get to a whole bunch of different things. And there's the thumbnail and the title of the show, Trump's biggest victory yet. That's not clickbait. I don't do clickbait, and I know a lot of people do clickbait. I do not ever have anything that's clickbait. If I have something in my thumbnail, if I have something in my title, I mean it. And Corey Lewandowski, who I've had as a guest on my podcast, who told me that he talked to President Trump about me. So I'm a big Corey Lewandowski fan. But Corey Lewandowski wrote an article, and this is in the Daily Caller, that is just phenomenal about President Trump and what he's done. And I want to go through this a little bit before we get into some of the other stories, because this is really phenomenal. And, you know, President Trump is winning like no one's business. It really is. And, you know, what we're going to find out, I talked to Dick Morris about this when I interviewed him on the radio about a month or so ago. I said, are we going to find, because I've thought this for a long time, that President Trump, we're going to find, is going to get more accomplished in having two non-consecutive terms than having two consecutive terms. And Dick Morris said, yeah, I have talked to President Trump about that. We have had discussions over that. And in this 4-year recession with this senile old coot Alzheimer's patient we have, Donald Trump's busy doing all kinds of things. And this is just amazing. Look at this. Corey Lewandowski. Trump has vanquished every major Republican political dynasty in the last 7 years. And he gets into a lot of detail over this. And, of course, going in no particular order, but the most recent of which is Liz Cheney. You know, the Cheney family is part of the old guard of the current Republican establishment. They've had this dynasty with the Cheneys. You know, people forget, you know, Dick Cheney, he worked for Richard Nixon, right? Or was it Ford? He worked for Ford. So he goes back to Ford, Dick Cheney. So he was around during the Nixon era because that's a Nixon thing. So he's been around since the Nixon-Ford era. He was Secretary of Defense with Bush 1. He was Vice President with Bush 2. And he's been manipulating with the Bush family, his daughter, into this kangaroo committee business. That dynasty, the Cheney dynasty, is history. That's huge, huge. And Trump did that. And, of course, then he goes through, this is a very detailed article, so I'm just skimming over the highlights here. I'm not going to read it to you. But the Bush dynasty, you know, Jeb's son ran out in Texas for something and got creamed. The Bush dynasty is done, and the Bushes have been in office since like the 50s. And have been a part not just of the political establishment, the Bush family, but the deep state too. Because remember, Bush 41 was FBI director, CIA director, ambassador to China, on top of being vice president and president. So the Bush dynasty is history, complete history. So we got the Cheneys, we've got the Bushes, done. The new dynasty is the Trump dynasty. And then he gets into Mitt Romney. And, you know, people forget, Mitt Romney, his dad was in the Senate, and it goes way back, you know, and held offices. His family has been running Republican establishment politics since the 60s. So, you know, the Romneys, the Bushes, the Cheneys, they're all done and gone and out. And if you look at the current state of the Republican establishment, the old guard Republican establishment, all those never Trumpers, they're completely out of power now. Completely out of power. And the new power is, of course, the Trump dynasty. And the Trump dynasty is just spectacular because we've got Not people just, the Bush, Cheney, and Romneys, you had to have the last name. You had to be married into it. The Trump dynasty is beyond the bloodline like these other people, because these other guys, the Cheneys, the Bushes, the Romneys, they were into politics to make money for them and their family. The Trump family, they got more money than they could ever spend. If they were blowing money all day, they couldn't spend all they got. So they're into public service for the real reason that President Kennedy called people into public service. So it's not a bloodline thing they're doing. They've got great people like Ron DeSantis, my great governor here in Florida, and the rest, Kerry Lake. I don't have to go through the list with you. So that's why the Trump dynasty is going to be far beyond the Kennedy dynasty, which, by the way, is history, which, and Corey Lewandowski didn't mention that, but Hillary Clinton was with the Kennedys. Obama was with the Kennedys. They're out now. The last person in any type of political position from the Kennedy orbit is Mayor Pete, and he's an idiot. He's done. So President Trump rid us of the Kennedys and their dynasty. They're out. The Clinton dynasty, done. I wouldn't be surprised if down the road they try to run Chelsea for something, but they're done. There's the Clinton dynasty, Kennedy dynasty, Bush, Cheney. It's all done. It's all done. So this is just an incredibly awesome time, and President Trump is just doing all kinds of spectacular things, and and he's not out there bragging about it all the time because he's too busy working. All these Trump haters, they think Trump's got this out of control ego. He can't control himself, and here President Trump is doing all these incredible things, and people really aren't focusing in on it. And Corey Lewandowski's column there kind of woke me up a little bit to just because we're so caught up in this raid on Mar-A-Lago, as we should be, that we're not getting a big picture of a lot of the winning that's been going on with President Trump defeating the entire old guard Republican establishment. And this is absolutely just tremendous. And, the Democrat Party are doing so many things to destroy themselves. Democrats got a lot of personal problems. And one of their problems is that no boundaries. They just keep pushing. But one thing that is a constant with liberals, with Democrats in America, is their racism. Democrats are racist, and it doesn't matter what skin color the Democrat is. They're all racist against another group that's not the same color as them. That's a constant with Democrats. It goes all the way back to slavery and the Civil War and the original Democrat community activist organization, which was the KKK, the Ku Klux Klan. So everything the Democrats have always done is just rooted in hate and racism. And this story here, this stuff doesn't burn me up at all, because this helps us finally wipe out of existence the Democrat Party as we know it. I mean, we're living through a time where one of the major parties is about to just evaporate from existence, and what's going to come up in its place is some commie party that they call Democratic Socialism. And there's no such thing as Democratic Socialism. That's a lie. You can't be a socialist and democratic, and really, Democratic Socialism is communism. They just don't want to say that, because even as left-wing as their pod people, Democrat followers are, they won't accept the communism openly in large enough numbers, so they call themselves Democratic Socialists. But look at this. Berkeley CoOp. What is a co-op? That's some liberal thing. Berkeley CoOp bans white people from common areas. Wow. To avoid white violence and presence. And all students trying to sign in are asked to declare their race. Their race. Well, my race, I tell you, this is a great story, because this is ground zero for liberalism, Berkeley, California, and these white liberals are, they're canceling themselves, But it's so interesting with the liberals. You have to declare your race. There is only one race. It's the human race, and inside the human race, there are different ethnicities. Like I'm a creepy ass cracker, you know. I guess that's what they call me in Berkeley. No, I'm a white boy, you know, and whatever, you know. There's not different races of humans. We're all the same race, the human race, and so what these lefties at Berkeley are saying, not beyond just this bizarre segregation against white people, and it really it implodes on themselves, because who are they banning? White liberals, right? But they're saying that white people are one species, black people are another. They're saying that every skin color is a different species. And that in itself is bigotry. But anyway, the accommodation houses University of California, Berkeley students and has rules that specifically ban white people from common spaces in the house. I love it. The person of color theme house, by the way, none of this is legal. Segregation is illegal. But anyway, they're bringing back segregation. And it's an interesting thing that they're bringing back segregation, because the Democrats were the one that started segregation in the first place. The person of color theme house says many of its members moved to the house to avoid white violence. It also calls for members to avoid bringing parents and family members that express bigotry. I guess that would be like my Trump 45 shirt I'm wearing. This shirt, by the way, is when President Trump took the Beast to be the pace car at the Daytona 500. And Sarah, who's in the chat all the time, she sent me this shirt. I love this shirt. Several people, including POC, and I've heard of POS, but now they got this new thing, POC. POC is person of color or people of color. Several people, including people of color, which is another racist term that they've brought back, have complained of culture in the house that seeks to exclude and belittle. The accommodation, which is located to Berkeley's campus, is a 5-story, 30-room home that can house up to 56 students. White students need not apply. Have you lived in a Berkeley student co-op house or know someone who has? Let us know. And they got this thing here so they can find some stories on people talking about their racism. You know, what's really amazing when you see these absurd stories like that is how these left-wing lunatics that are behind all of it think that it's cool. You know, they think that it's just cool and it's awesome and it's okay and nothing's wrong with it. But there is. But I support all this because what it's doing, you know, President Trump, you know, he says a lot in his speech. He doesn't say so much anymore because it's not true. But when he was running for president the first time, he would say, you know, say what you want about Democrats, but they always stick together. Well, they don't anymore. And when you are banning white people from accommodations in Berkeley, you're banning white liberal people. So we have a lot of infighting between Democrats all over the place, which is historic in nature. It gets worse all the time, and it's awesome because since they're infighting so much, you know, they can't they can't even really get a political movement going. Now, you know, the Mar-A-Lago break-in was really a wake-up call for a lot of people, and you know, the one of the biggest wake-up calls we've gotten in the aftermath of the break-in is a lot of people that are misguided Democrats who have believed all these lies about President Trump, the Russia hoax, Skanky Daniels, all that stuff. They've now woken up and said, you know what? All these MAGA people were right. None of these things are true. None of these things are true. And this FBI raid has helped us get that out. And look at this. This is a new poll. Majority of American voters, and by the way, likely voters are the only people that count. What I mean by that is the only people whose opinions matter are those who are going to vote. So you can go around and ask homeless people all day what they think. If they don't show up and vote, it doesn't matter. So when people that are likely voters say something, that's very, very meaningful in an election year especially. Majority of American voters now agree that the FBI is Biden's Gestapo after the controversial raid on Trump's Mar-A-Lago, a new poll finds. A new poll found the idea was trickling through to American voters. It's a Rasmussen report of 1,000 likely voters. Now, here's the thing. Likely vote. When you're doing likely voters is the most scientific of all polling that involves elections, right? There's different kinds of polls. And as likely voters is the most scientific. But sometimes you'll see a poll of Americans. Americans could be kids, right, that are underage that can't vote. That's not a scientific poll during an election. Then they do registered voters. That doesn't mean anything. Just because someone's registered to vote doesn't mean they're going to vote. The scientific polls are the likely voters, and Rasmussen and all the polling organizations define a likely voter as a voter who, of course, is, or a person they're polling who is, of course, registered to vote, has voted in the last 2 election cycles, and will be voting in the next one. These are the only people whose opinions matter in a poll because they're actually going to go out and vote. Okay, does that make sense to you guys? So this poll is absolutely amazing. So it's likely voters, and they were asked if they agree with Roger Stone's claim that the FBI had become President Joe Biden's personal Gestapo. 53% agreed, including 34% who strongly agreed. So I mean that's huge. Huge. Yeah, a poll of Americans could be South Americans. It doesn't, it doesn't matter. It could even be Canadians who define themselves as North Americans. And so that raid was a panic move. And I thought, I've talked about this over the last week and a half since the break-in of Mar-A-Lago. It'll be 2 weeks on Monday. I think Kari Lake's victory in Arizona just triggered the Democrats. They lost control, and they went out and did something that was pretty stupid, wouldn't you say? And they never intended for it to really be public, and because it was President Trump who made it public. UK Neil, who's in the chat, brought that up. He called me on the radio about a week ago, or maybe the beginning of this week, and pointed that out. President Trump is the one who went public on Truth Social about the raid on Mar-A-Lago, okay? They didn't go public with it. They didn't announce it, and we probably would have found out about it, but it would have been vague and rumors, and President Trump made it public. And he's also, President Trump, the one who's trying to get all the details made public. When there's a drug dealer or some big criminal whose house gets raided, their legal strategy is to delay. You never see a guilty person push for total transparency like President Trump. But what the powers that be did not predict was what the public reaction would be about the raid of Mar-A-Lago, which is just completely negative. People just don't support that. And that's the way of it. And, this is another story that fits into the Democrats destroying their party. New Jersey elementary school drops, didn't say right. New Jersey elementary school drops Thomas Jefferson's name and renames it for the first black woman to graduate from a local high school after student outrage over the slave owner. Jefferson Elementary School in South Orange will instead be renamed to Delia Bolden Elementary School, and blah, blah, blah. Okay, this thing about Thomas Jefferson, Democrats, leftists, this is a common theme with them. They want to rename everything, and they do this all the time. And, they've been doing this for years and years and years. And, by the way, guys, thanks for gifting those memberships out, and that's appreciated. Thanks so much, guys. And, what it is, it's kind of like an anger reaction. It's an anger reaction. And, like Thomas Jefferson, what they do that just makes absolutely no sense is that they judge people from long ago that did great things in their time. They judge them based on the standards of today, which you just can't do that. It doesn't make sense. You can't judge people on today's. I mean, my goodness, you and I, you guys in the chat room and me, we can't even be held up to this woke standard of today thing because we think there's two genders, right? So how can you go back in time a couple hundred years, over 200 years in Jefferson's case, and say that Thomas Jefferson, because he did something 200 and some years ago that he's got to be canceled now. They cancel conservatives today. People in this country today, look, they're canceling white liberals at Berkeley. They just don't. They don't see what they're doing, but that's okay. We don't want the Democrats to wake up and correct what they're doing, because see how happy I am. They're destroying their own party. And what I was talking about at the beginning of the stream about these political dynasties that President Trump has destroyed: the Kennedy dynasty, the Clinton dynasty, the Cheney, Bush, and Romney family dynasties. These are the five big political establishment dynasties. The three that Lewandowski talked about were Republicans, which is all very significant. And President Trump doing that is just massive victories for him and the whole MAGA movement. But another thing that President Trump has been doing is peeling away people from groups that Democrats take for granted. And, like Blacks for Trump. You see Blacks for Trump at all the events, You might have seen them on my vlog at Mar-A-Lago last week. But one of the other groups that President Trump has taken just a huge number of people from that Democrats take for granted are young people. Look at this. 73% of college Democrats don't want Biden to run. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to vote Trump or support MAGA. But this is a major, this is Trump. And this is what Trump has done. And the reason that is, President Trump raised the standard of what the American people expect and demand from our public officials. We want people that are doers, not talkers. We want people that are awake, that are actually working for the country, working for the American people. And even Democrats are applying those standards. And for 73% of college Democrats to oppose the sitting Democrat to run for re-election, that has never happened before. That is historic. Okay? Now, they say 43% of Republican college kids don't want Trump on their ticket. Well, who cares what they think? They're kids, right? They'll when they get out of college and mommy and daddy stop paying their cell phone bill, they'll wake up real quick and say, wait a minute, Trump, the prices were so great. But to lose that much of the college Democrats is unheard of, And, you remember Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton was physically assaulting women, right? Blooding women's lips, raping women, sexually assaulting women, and doing all kinds of other things. And still, like 99% of Democrats, including college Democrats, said, we still need him. He's better than the Republican. This is unheard of before. And Trump did that. It's astounding. So, these college kids don't care about inflation or anything because mommy and daddy are still paying the bills, or they're living off of, they're living off student loans and things like that. Now, by the way, if you love Trump, give me a 1 in the chat if you don't mind. Give me a 1 in the chat if you love Trump. 2 if you don't. I don't expect to see too many 2s in there. But if you love Trump, give me a 1. And if you give us a 2 that you don't, I'm sorry. Just keep watching the stream. Keep watching all my content, and you will love Trump eventually. And not much to say about this, but, this story here, CNN's getting mocked. Think of it as a $100 a month raise. They're talking about the gas prices, And the gas prices, they go up way, way high. They come down a few cents, and we're supposed to be grateful over on CNN. Look at all those 1s. Oh, my goodness. I haven't seen a single 2 for no. Isn't that one? Look at all that Trump love in there. Wow. That's awesome, guys. That's right. How could you not love Trump? It's impossible. How could you not love Trump? That's exactly right. Oh, man. That's awesome. By the way, make sure you like the video. Patty Cash said no. Patty, why don't you love Trump? Come on. Oh, man. I'm sorry, Patty. We'll wake you up. You'll come around. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, look at all that Trump love. We had 1 no. Well, we'll work on her. We'll get her to come back around. Don't worry. this story here, okay? This just another one of these transgender sports things, right? Golfer is set to become the first transgender woman to win the coveted Ladies Professional Golf Association Tour card, the LPGA. Okay, now, a transgendered woman is someone who was born a man, right? Here's the thing about that. And when you look at this story, okay? The PGA has just banned for life all these golfers because they're playing for that LIV tournament that President Trump had at Bedminster, that Saudi-backed pro golf league that they've put together. But you can be a man and play in the LPGA now? I mean, come on. But the LIV guys, they're banned for life. These transgender athletes, I don't care who it is, the golfer, the swimmer, whoever it is, okay, the candlestick maker, they're all cheaters. Okay, I question whether any of these people are actually transgender, in particular, Leah Thomas. Okay, when we go back to these people in 5 years, 10 years, we need to find out in those years, 5, 10 years down the road, are they still living as women? They're cheaters. They can't compete with the men. They can't compete with the boys. So they go and all of a sudden they're transgender. They get to play on the girls' team. And then they can be victorious. It always reminds me of that Seinfeld episode with Kramer when he takes karate and he's in the karate tournament and he's beating everybody in his karate class. But and then Jerry and the gang they go to watch him and he's doing karate, Kramer, against 5-year-old kids. Remember that? That's what it's like when these guys all of a sudden declare that they're transgender and go out there to play on these girls teams. That's what it is. And this story here, this is just amazing. And I know UK Neil's still in there. This is a good one. Trump says a major motion is coming in response to the Mar-A-Lago raid, which violated his Fourth Amendment rights. The Fourth Amendment, which, for those that don't know, we have a liberal in there. The first 10 amendments are the Bill of Rights, right, of the United States Constitution. And the Fourth Amendment in particular is, one you don't hear too much about unless you're listening to some lawyer talk about it on television. But the Fourth Amendment in particular is a big one, and it's one we have because of the redcoats. Because what the redcoats would do, they didn't like you. They thought you were part of the Sons of Liberty or something, and they would just break into your house like they did at Mar-a-Lago and look for something. It goes back to that old thing you hear a lot of people say these days. Show me the man, I'll show you the crime. And the Fourth Amendment is against unreasonable search and seizure, right? So that amendment is there very specifically for the reason that the redcoats with the colonists were acting just like Merrick Garland was at Mar-a-Lago. And how this plays out in court, I don't know. But what I like about this story is when I was reading the news this morning, President Trump's Fourth Amendment violation is being discussed in great detail in pretty much every news publication I read this morning, even the liberal ones. So people get a little social studies lesson there. And, people don't like the idea. Our home is our castle. People don't like the idea that the government can just break into your house because they don't like you. And that's what happened here. And you know what? Everyone knows it. It's not even the beginnings of a secret. Now, I was talking at the beginning of the stream about the racism always comes from the left. Always comes from the left. And that's just the way it has been historically. And this is one that has been a long time coming. And I hope it is the end of an era from this person, okay? And that's Annie Leibowitz. Annie Leibowitz has been accused of racism. Now, Annie Leibowitz is the celebrity photographer. They always bring her in. And look at this. Annie Leibowitz, well-known liberal photographer, accused of racism. She's done now. She's done. They accused her of racism. After legendary photographer is accused of repeatedly failing to light black female subjects properly. that she's been keeping them dark. Yeah, here's Ketanji. You can hardly see her. She says no lighting. And they have some. Do you have any other examples? Yeah, look at this. You can hardly see these people. They're so dark. That's Annie Leibowitz. She doesn't like black people. She doesn't like black people. And Annie Leibowitz has a history of making people she doesn't like look bad in their photographs. She did this with John McCain, and she typically does it through lighting. And when John McCain was running with Sarah Palin, she did a photo spread that was dark lighting and taken from weird angles and made him look like the devil. Do you remember this? So Annie Leibowitz has a very long history of being what maybe, I don't know if it'd be passive-aggressive, because it's not very passive. She's just doing it, but she thinks she'll get away with it. When she is taking photographs of people she doesn't like, she uses poor lighting to make them not look so good in the photographs. And it looks like that may have been what she did to Ketanji. I mean, look at that. You can't even see her hardly. So there's another end of an era, another liberal, Annie Leibowitz, being canceled, and it could not happen to a nicer person, right? Could not happen to a nicer person. And did she do the same thing to Sarah Palin that she did? It seems to me she might have done that to Sarah Palin too. Now, I wanted to play this for you guys. Hold on, let me get this queued up here. And, the Democrats at every level are just in total self-destruction mode. Most of the damage that the Democrats are doing to themselves and their credibility with the American people, they're doing to themselves, right? We don't even have to get involved in it, because they're doing so much damage without us doing anything. Hold on a second. I want to play this video, but there's a commercial first. So I got to wait for the commercial to start. Okay. This is this one with the parents, how they're portraying parents at the school board meetings. And these are New Jersey school board meetings.
Attacking our schools. That's not who we are.
Let me go back. Hold on.
Extremists start attacking our schools.
Extremists start attacking our schools. Those are parents, by the way. Parents are extremists.
When extremists start attacking our schools, that's not who we are. People who only want to fight to score political points should take that somewhere else. We don't agree on everything in New Jersey, but we all agree that our kids deserve a world-class education. So when extremists start attacking our schools, that's not who we are. People who only want to fight to score political points should take that somewhere else. We don't agree on everything in New Jersey, but we all agree that our kids deserve a world-class education. So when extremists...
Oh, man, that's like a continuous loop. Let me turn that down. It won't stop playing. This is another beautiful thing that the Democrats have done to cause massive destruction to themselves and to their movement. And I don't mind that commercial is in continuous loop. Maybe we should run that in continuous loop, like for 12 hours, so people can see what the Democrats' attitude towards parents are. Parents get, and what you see at these school boards, like, look at this still. This is a still photo, right? At a school board meeting, this parent. When you start messing around with people's kids, regardless of what their political affiliations are, people get pissed. People don't want their kids messed around with by these lunatics in the schools. And, there's a big movement in this country to take back our school boards. And, what I believe that the Republicans should call on, you should only be on a school board if you've got a kid in the school system, right? It should be 1-year terms, and that's it. Why would you want to be on a school board if you don't have a kid in the school? Doesn't make any sense, right? Well, the reason they want to be on these school boards is because they have an agenda. And there's a lot of corruption. School boards have tremendous budgets. They got to buy property to build schools. They got to buy toilet paper, copy paper, printer, ink, desks, computers. School boards are as corrupt, if not more corrupt, than the United States Congress. They're all like Biden, and that's why these people are on it, most of them. And the idea that you got Garland calling parents terrorists, domestic terrorists, you've got the teachers union putting out an ad like this, calling parents extremists. This is beautiful. It's total Democrat self-destruction. I mean, that's really the theme of this entire stream this morning here on YouTube. The Democrats are in a state of complete 100% self-destruction. And you know what? We should let them do it and enjoy it. You know, a lot of people, they'll see that ad, they get upset. Oh, how could the union do that? I get excited. When I see the teachers union put out a commercial like that, I'm excited. I'm like, oh, that's great. They're helping us. That's awesome. They're bringing more people to Trump, to the MAGA movement, away from them. It's absolutely amazing. Now, I want to tell you guys, got some amazing news yesterday that I've been waiting for quite some time. And I know a lot of you know that every year, although we didn't do it last year because of COVID, but every year Steve Kane and I take a listener cruise. And January 29th, we're taking our 4th annual Steve Kane MAGA cruise with me, Brian Craig, and Steve Kane. You're all invited, and some massive news came out yesterday that I've been waiting for and really haven't promoted the cruise that much. I knew this was coming, and I was told it was going to be coming next month, but it came a little early. Celebrity Cruises, who we do all of our listener cruises with, has lifted the vaccine mandate. You don't need a vaccine to go on the cruise anymore, which is why you haven't heard me talk about and promote it that much. My daughter's coming with me. My mother-in-law's coming with her husband. You are all invited, unless Liberal Al the John's in the chat. You're not invited. In fact, he's on the list not to be a part of our cruise. So no longer do you need to be vaccinated to go on cruises. So just give me a couple minutes, because I want to tell you guys about this. We're going on the Celebrity Apex, which is a brand new ship, and it's 7 nights, and we leave out of Fort Lauderdale. We're going to first go to my favorite spot in the Caribbean, and that's San Juan, Puerto Rico. We've got a great shore excursion there. From Puerto Rico, we're going to head over to the British Virgin Islands and then St. Kitts. And we're just going to have a great day, right? Fort Lauderdale, day 2 at sea. San Juan, we're going to tour the forts and do everything. And British Virgin Islands is beautiful. I've been to the Virgin Islands. It's just great. I've not been to the British side. I've been to the American side. St. Kitts, I've never been there, but it's very beautiful. And then we have these sea days. And this is the ship that we're traveling. Oh, I didn't pull up the map. I'm sorry, I didn't flip it over. Here's the map of where we're going, right? Fort Lauderdale, which is right here. First stop, Puerto Rico. Then over to the British Virgin Islands and St. Kitts. And it's 7 nights, 4 ports, including Fort Lauderdale. And we have dinner together every night. We have a lot of activities planned on board the ship. And we have shore excursions planned at the different ports that we're still working on firming up. So we're not promoting this, but vaccines are no longer required for cruising. So call our travel agent, Ian, from Cruise and Travel Depot. This is the ship we're going on. It's the Celebrity Apex, which is beautiful and modern and adult. It's not a cruise ship that's filled with a bunch of kids. It's an adult cruise. It's great. And we have some of the best group pricing you can get on this cruise ship, because at the height of COVID, I talked to Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot. He's our travel agent. I said, let's get this cruise set up down the road, because the prices are going to be better right now, because the ships can't even sail, right? Because there's during the COVID lockdowns. So you're getting COVID lockdown pricing. And so let me give you this number. And this is that, again, vaccines are no longer required to cruise. And I've been waiting for this to promote the cruise, you know? So give Ian, he's our travel agent. This is one of the, we're going to eat in a different dining room every night. And it's a beautiful experience. Drinks are included if you're a drinker, you know? And it's just going to be a great time. The food's spectacular. Here's Ian's number. Give him a call. Make a reservation. 561-244-5779. We leave January 29th out of Fort Lauderdale. 561-244-5779. You'll have a great time. And we started doing it January 29th. We leave for 7 days. And we started doing these cruises because I need a vacation. You guys know I work all the time. I don't vacation really ever. I hardly take a day off. I even work on holidays like Thanksgiving. I do take off Christmas, but I take off all these days. And for the cruise, that's my annual vacation. And I have not been on a vacation since 2019. But when we did our first week-long cruise, was my first week off of work, off the radio, whole week in 20 years. So, again, you're all invited, and vaccines are no longer necessary. So, and the prices are great, and there's all kinds of different levels depending on what cabin and everything you get. So join us, okay, guys? You will love it, I promise. Yes. I will make videos and stream from the cruise. Don't worry, guys. But I hope you guys will join me. All right, now, Walmart. This is insane. It's hard not to shop. It's hard. It's hard to function in America, and not shop at Walmart or Target, right? Oh, Kim, £10 super chat. That's great. Thank you so much. Everyone, thank Kim for that £10 actually super sticker. #1 fan. Awesome. That's awesome. And Walmart has joined the long list of companies. They're going to pay employees travel expenses to get an abortion. Now, this is what I wonder. When they do that, right? When they include travel coverage, do you really have to get the abortion? It seems like a great way to scam your employee, or your employer, I should say, a great way to scam your employer to get a free vacation. Doesn't it? It does, doesn't it? It really does. Because you could change your mind. You could say, oh, I can't get the abortion here. By the way, how do they even know you're pregnant? Right? Just tell them you have to do some diaper. And you get out there, you change your mind. You make the choice of life at the last moment. You still got your free vacation. They fly out there. They put you up in the hotel room. And the two big retailers that are difficult not to shop at, Walmart and Target. So Target, they took a big financial hit in their last quarter because of all these transgender weird clothing things they were selling, and plus the bathrooms and everything. That didn't help either. But when you look at the left and you go through and this is the news just from today. Has there been one story that I've gone through today that has been positive for the Democrats? Everything's been completely negative for the Democrats. There is not a positive story for the Democrats. Now, I predicted something last week, and, as happens from time to time, my predictions come true. This one's coming true a little quicker. Liz Cheney says the January 6th committee is in discussions with Pence's lawyers about testifying. And remember the other day, Mike Pence was asked a fake question, a setup question about testifying to the January 6th kangaroo committee, and he says, he said he'd do it. This is the latest scheme of these never-Trumpers. It is what they're planning on being the grand finale is Vice President Mike Pence coming in. A vice president of the United States, to my knowledge, has never testified in front of a House committee, sitting or past. I don't believe it's ever happened, not to my knowledge, not since we've had television at least, okay? And for Mike Pence to show up and testify would be a massive media spectacle. There'd be a huge buildup. When it would happen, they'd be outside. All programming would be preempted. They would even interrupt regularly scheduled programming on the networks, and they're telling themselves this will be it. His top lieutenant is vice president. Then the American people will finally wake up that he's a criminal. They don't understand. You bring Judas Pence up there, it's like everything else they do is going to make Donald Trump even stronger. Now, she gave an interview. Let's watch some of this. Hold on. Let's see what Liz has to say. Boy, does she ever look happy? Never, does she?
One of the key figures here is obviously Mike Pence. He said this week he's willing to consider testifying if he is asked. Are you going to ask him?
So we've been in discussions with his counsel.
See, what happened is Kathy and I were talking about this on our podcast earlier this week. When Liz Cheney was creamed, and I think the defeat was they expected her to lose, but I think the defeat was far worse than they imagined. They went into a panic mode, and what did they do? They had a Zoom meeting, and Mike Pence was a part of it. Cheney, Mike Pence, Paul Ryan from Fox News, and who knows who else. They all got together. What can we do? What can we do? And they said, we'll bring in, hey, Mike, will you come testify to Liz's committee? Oh, yeah, sure. So they hatched this idea on defeat night of Liz Cheney. And like everything else, it's going to backfire. Let's see what she has to say, though.
One of the key figures here is obviously Mike Pence. He said this week he's willing to consider testifying if he is asked. Are you going to ask him?
So we've been in discussions with his counsel, and I didn't see his specific comments this week, but it sounds like they were pretty similar to what his counsel has been saying. And I think, look, he played a critical role on January 6th. If he had succumbed to the pressure that Donald Trump was putting on.
Okay, so I can't listen. I can't listen to her any longer than that. But have you ever really seen her? Isn't she always miserable? Look at her. I don't want to listen to Liz anymore, but that's going to be the grand finale. And at this point, Liz Cheney, she figures she's got nothing to lose, right? She's got nothing to lose. And, not only is Trump and MAGA, the Republicans, and when I say Republicans, I don't mean the establishment, I mean you guys, me, we're winning on everything. Look at this. Look at this. Truth Social downloads surge 550% after Trump's FBI raid. 550%. By the way, I am on Truth Social, Real Brian Craig on Truth, Real Brian Craig. So this is amazing. Excuse me. So President Trump's banned from all the platforms. Okay, he's banned from all the platforms. So after the break-in of Mar-A-Lago, people want to hear what President Trump has to say. And the only place he's commenting is Truth Social, putting out truths all the time. 550% increase after the break-in. And this is amazing, and it's happening quickly. Truth, by the time we get to 2024, and it looks like it's going to be happening sooner than that, Truth Social is going to be the influential social media outlet that or app that Twitter was a couple years ago. Elon Musk has exposed Twitter as being fake, filled with bots, and it's lost its influence big time. And now that Trump is so relevant in every aspect of the news, you got to go to Truth to hear what President Trump is saying. They're driving people to Truth Social. By the way, Real Brian Craig on Truth. And you can find my wife, Kathy, on there, too. Florida Mermaid is my wife, Kathy, on Truth Social. I'm Real Brian Craig. But this is absolutely amazing. Oh, Chris, $17.76 super chat. That's right. $17.76, baby. I'm going to try to make the cruise. Thanks, Brian. Well, I hope you come, Chris. And, we have dinner together every night, by the way. And even though we're going to be eating in a different dining room every night, all of our tables have window views. I make sure we get the windows in our dining room always. Best seats in the house. But Truth Social, President Trump's own app, is going to become the news app of record where America and international people, too, because it's now available in the UK and everything. This is where people are going to have to go. Governor Newsom has been on Truth Social for quite some time, a couple months now. And it's amazing that he has done it and that he is there because he's a Democrat, Governor Newsom. So Governor Newsom, he's the first high-level Democrat to go to Truth Social. That's where you're going to have to go if you want to be relevant. You're not going to be able to be relevant on Twitter and because Trump's not there. That's why Elon Musk doesn't really want Twitter anymore. When Trump said he would never go back, that's what really did him in. And I mean that's just the way it is. What are they going to do, the liberals, huh? What are they going to do? They're going to lose. That's what they're going to do. They're going to lose on everything. Oh, I want to show you guys something. Here, hold on. I want to show you. I don't know if I can show this to you. Let me see if I can show this to you. Hold on. This is a cool thing, if I can show it to you. I'm not sure that I can. Let me see if it'll work. I should have tested this before I did the stream, right? Let's see here. May not work. May not work. Oh, yes. Hold on. And yes, it's going to work. Hold on. Let me pull it up. Mike Lindell, who has his big event this weekend on Frank's Speech. He's got his whole event going on. Go to Frank's Speech and follow his event. He made his television commercial for us on the Steve Kane Show and me, Brian, from my YouTube channel. And Mike Lindell's office, they've been a sponsor of us for a long time. Mike Lindell's office actually made a Mike Lindell TV commercial for my YouTube channel here. And, I'm serious. They sent this to me last night. It has our promo code in it, Kane, K-A-N-E.
Hello, I'm Mike
It's
Lindell.
amazing.
And my employees and I want to thank each and every one of you for your support by bringing you the MyPillow that started it all. MyPillow's patented
that's our
fill
promo
adjusts
code.
to your exact individual needs regardless of your sleep position. Because it works, we've sold over 70 million MyPillows, and now I'm bringing it to you for the lowest price ever. For example, you get my standard MyPillow, now only $19.88 with your promo code. Now's the time to get them for your friends, your family, your neighbors, everyone you know. MyPillows make the best gifts ever. In the times we're in, one thing we all need is getting a great night's sleep.
That's right.
So go to MyPillow.com or call that number on your screen now. Use your promo code and you'll get my standard MyPillow for only $19.88. For a more custom fit, my Premium Queen, only $24.98. Or my Premium King, only $29.98. This is a limited time offer, so order now.
Isn't that cool? And they gave us, and they got our promo code there. Kane, K-A-N-E. So that nice, yeah. And they did it for the YouTube channel here because we broke the 50K subs last week, which is amazing. And I did not even ask them to do that. They surprised me with that. So I thought that was pretty cool. I thought it was cool. It's cool to me. Maybe not to you guys, but it's cool to me. So go there and buy something. Now, the Democrats, this is an amazing happening. This is an amazing happening. Check this out. North Dakota School District has reinstated the Pledge of Allegiance. The Democrats have been trying to rid us of our great Pledge of Allegiance forever. And boom, it's back. North Dakota's Fargo School Board. Now, Fargo, yeah, I know. I don't pay much attention to Fargo unless I'm watching that William H. Macy movie. But the Fargo School Board is pretty liberal. And they took the pledge out, and boom. North Dakota's Fargo School Board reinstated the Pledge of Allegiance at the start of its board meetings after 1 week's worth of backlash following the board's decision to ban the pledge. Since April, the Fargo School Board has been starting every meeting by reciting the pledge. However, the school board determined its Pledge of Allegiance violated the board's diversity, equity, and inclusion policies. Whatever that means. The school board's decision came down to the pledge's inclusion of the words "under God." Okay, now this thing about the "under God." President Truman, Democrat, who was also in the Klan, he was a Democrat. But during Truman's era is when the pledge came about and everything. But one thing they did, even though they were Democrats, that was pretty smart, was make "under God." Because that's generic. That can be, you can be Christian, a Jew, a Mormon, a Muslim, right? It's generic under God in that sense, and it means to you whoever your God is. The problem is, the Democrats who are communist, if you go to any of the communist nations throughout history, They always want to take religion out because, the reason that the leftists hate religion and want to take religion out of everything is pretty simple because they have their own moral code that they want to put upon you. Right now, it's all this gender crap and, all their other varied things. And religion has a moral code to it as well, whatever the religion is, and it interferes with their liberal agenda. And the liberals want to politically be able to define morality and don't want God getting in the way of it. And that's why they always are attacking anything that involves God. Whether it's, when I was a kid, we had prayer in school when I was young in school. They got rid of the prayer in school. Maybe that's one of the reasons we have mass shootings. Has it ever occurred to them? They've taken the pledge out from time to time here and there, and that's what they do. That's what they do. What's going on in Pennsylvania, this is the one area where things are a little hairy. And I know we probably have some people in here from Pennsylvania. Anyone from Pennsylvania? This communist Fetterman who dresses like Antifa. He can't even speak. He had a stroke. He's ahead of Oz. I read a story today that said that Trump is pissed off that he supported Oz. I don't know. I don't think he's pissed off that he endorsed Oz. I think he's pissed off that Oz is handling the campaign in such an amateur thing, that vegetable thing the other day. There have been 2 videos out about Fetterman that really should be career-ending. This one here I'll play, but there was one that came out last week. I played on the radio when a few years back, Fetterman, this white liberal, admitted communist, chased an innocent black man down the street with a loaded shotgun. You believe that? Yeah. And now we got this new video of him.
I think it's important.
When that is out. This is Fetterman.
I think it's important that we as a society have all the options on the table, including needle exchange, which is only technically legal in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, and even safe injection sites that are being considered, like, say, in Philadelphia. I'll never forget the meeting that I had down at the DSCC where they, evaluate you and your campaign and your candidacy. And one of the things that I kept talking about was the opioid crisis. And they were just like, wait a second, what are you talking about? Like, you want to legalize heroin. I think it's important.
Okay, so Fetterman wants to legalize heroin. He wants to have injection sites, give people needles, and everything else. And he also chased an innocent black man down the street with a loaded shotgun because he thought he was a criminal. Because, like other Democrats we talked about, he's a racist. These 2 incidents, this thing about legalization of drugs is just stupid. Their solution to drug crime is to legalize. If you legalize crime, you'll have no crime. So legalizing drugs is just stupid. I mean, look at the destruction that legalizing marijuana has had in the country. There's a lot of people that do marijuana now that wouldn't have before, but it's legal now. But these 2 stories, chasing the black man down with the shotgun and the heroin legalization, both of these should blow him out of the water so far as a credible candidacy. And Dr. Oz, who's an idiot, he's an idiot. A lot of people have a lot of book knowledge, but they have no common sense and are really stupid people. And he may be a brilliant doctor, I don't know. But he's a stupid person, Dr. Oz. He's got these 2 issues that he could destroy Fetterman with. And what's he doing? He's out there buying vegetables and making these weird French dishes and everything. It's unfortunate because we do need that seat. We need Dr. Oz there. Even though he's a stupid person, he'll probably screw us over and caucus with Romney on occasion. But we need that Republican seat to get us even that much more of a majority in the Senate. And why Dr. Oz is not over Fetterman for that. As a physician, Dr. Oz could do a lot of damage with this heroin story because he could talk from a medical perspective what heroin does to the body. And he could. You guys have you ever seen photos online that are time-lapsed? It shows someone, and it's like this young, pretty girl, then she gets hooked up with some guy, and she gets into heroin, and then you see her like a year later, and she looks like she's 85 years old, and you know what I mean? That's Dr. Oz, just from his medical background, could destroy Fetterman on that legalization of heroin story alone. But he's too stupid and too arrogant to do it properly. If I were advising him, that'd be the first thing I would do, is bring him in, have him go to rehab, talk to people that are ex-users of heroin, do the time-lapse photographs, get together with experts in the medical world, and explain what heroin does to the human body. That's the first thing I would advise Oz to do. We have a whole week of that. At the end of the week, what I would do is I'd go and get that TV interview of him admitting that he chased an innocent black man down the street with a shotgun. He got in his car with the shotgun and chased him down. And I would seek that guy out. And I would at least try to interview him. I would show the video of Fetterman. I would go to the street where it happened, and I'd walk the street. I would, whatever shotgun he had, I'd get the exact, I don't know if it was a 12 or 10 gauge. I can't remember. It might have been a 10 gauge, actually. I can't remember if it was a 10 or 12. But anyway, I'd get the exact gun. I would show that gun, what it does, its destructive power. I would totally destroy Fetterman in a week and a half. He'd be done. But Dr. Oz is out there buying the vegetables because he's a stupid, stupid person. I don't care how many degrees he has. I don't care where he went to college. I don't care that he was Oprah's doctor. He's a stupid, stupid man. And Fetterman, it's like Fetterman's trolling now. What can he do? What can he give Oz to use against him? And will he use it? I mean, it's ridiculous. Now, if you're new to my channel, please subscribe. You're going to love my content. I put a lot up here. Right now, I'm at my home studio here at my house, but I live stream on the radio from the radio station. Monday through Friday, I'm on the radio on 6 radio stations and Morning Drive. I live stream here on my YouTube channel while I'm on the radio, taking calls from my radio listeners as well as those of you who watch on YouTube. I upload my podcast here, which I do with my wife, Kathy. And I also do a lot of vlogging, and I add vlogs up here. Like last Saturday, I was live streaming, and then I made a vlog from Mar-A-Lago after the break-in. In fact, I had 3 videos last week from Mar-A-Lago after the break-in. So subscribe if you're new to my channel. You'll love it. Wesley, $10 Super Chat. Please thank Wesley, everyone. Thank you, Wesley. Good morning, Brian. We need to put pressure on Dr. Oz to do what you're suggesting. Yeah, I agree. You guys should do this. And I'll tell you, we did something this week. I don't know if I have the story. Let me find the story. Because we got something done this week through this show. Let me end on this because this is okay. Let me find the okay. Let me see if I can find the original story. This thing with Val Demings. Hold on. Let me see if I can find the original story. Because I have not shown you guys the video, even though I have talked about it on the radio. I'm not sure if I have the video here right accessible to me, but I'll look and see if I can find it. Don't bear with me, guys. I didn't plan on doing this, but you know we can on this channel have very positive action on things that are going on in our community. And Val Demings, who's a Democrat, trying to pass herself off as a Republican here in Florida, we have a Republican and a Democrat primary coming up Tuesday here in Florida. And Val Demings, who's trying to make people think she's a Republican when she's really a very radical BLM Democrat, 2 of her security guards assaulted and beat up and sent to the hospital a citizen journalist who went to a campaign event of hers and was making a video. He just had a camera making a video like I do when I go to things. And it got picked up by 2 obscure news websites that don't get mainstream coverage. One of them was the Gateway Pundit, which I'm a big fan of, and another one was a local Florida political website. And I was pushing that story all last week, asking you all to take that story and share it and tweet it and tag it to people and let people know about it until someone picked it up. And sure enough, finally, on Friday, it got picked up by Politico. Okay, let me see if I can find the video here, because I want to show you guys the video. I'm not sure if I have the video. Yes, okay. Here's the video. Let me play this for you. Hold on. This is Val Demings. She's a Democrat.
You're good, buddy.
No. Look at this.
What are you doing? You can't get up. Stay down. Watch it. What the fuck are y'all doing?
Isn't this something? It's crazy. And there's actually 2 videos. This is this Democrat running for Senate. These are her security people. And then it gets worse. You know, they sent him to the hospital.
40 years of work. I respect it. 23, Homeland Security. Lieutenant Broward.
And that's what I told you, didn't I?
So this guy is a he worked in Homeland Security. He was a lieutenant with the sheriff's office.
I used to bounce people like you off their head in the jail.
Except for
He said, I used to bounce people like you off their head in the jail.
I used to bounce people like you off their head in the jail.
Except for I don't do bad things. I'm not one of those people.
Well, I'm telling you right
I'm just doing my job. That's it. That's it. I'm not, and I've been good to you guys. I haven't. I'm sorry. I know, but I've been so good to you guys. I've been so good. And y'all are just being ridiculous sometimes.
No, we're not.
I just want to be even keel.
Okay,
When you see me,
let's be even keel right now.
Okay. Thank
so
you.
don't take it personal, all right?
No, I'm not.
What's
I'm
gonna
not.
happen
Everything
to
that's
you?
just happened.
No.
We're good.
Going
We're
forward,
good.
don't take it personal.
Take what personal?
What's going to happen to you?
Okay. All right.
Okay. So then they beat him down. He went to the hospital, and no one covered this. And I was pushing it all week to get it covered, and then look what happened. Friday, look at this. Politico covered it, which is a left-wing news outlet. They covered it, and they covered it because of you guys that subscribe to my channel here. Okay? This woman here, she had 2 security guys beat up just a citizen journalist, just like a vlogger. And they beat him up pretty bad. And the one guy confessed that he did this to prisoners in the jail. Okay? No one picked it up. I played this every day, and I told you guys I was going to play it every day because no one's picking this up. And then look at that. Politico picked it up. Is that absolutely amazing? So it's out there now, and it's being investigated. So, and you guys got it out there. I brought it up on the radio. You all shared it. You tweeted it. You put it on Truth. You put it on Facebook. You did whatever it is that you did to get it out there after I shared it with you every day, and boom, we made it in Politico. Some other places picked it up too, and you know, Politico is a Democrat left-wing publication. So the fact that we got it on Politico is that's even better because we got it out there in a place that doesn't really like to make things about Democrats known to the public if it makes them look bad. Let me see if I can find 1 or 2 of her campaign ads. Let me see here, because her campaign ads, I tell you guys all the time, she tries to make herself look like a Republican. Let me see if I can find. I'm on her website. Let me see if she's got her ads on her website. Let's see here. Because I'd like to show you. I'm not sure. I shouldn't do this live, but maybe they're on YouTube. Hold on, let me find them. Because she's a hardcore Black Lives Matter supporter. She used to be a police chief, and she's trying to make herself look like a Republican. Hold on, let me look. Is this one of them? Okay, yeah, this is one of them. Let me play this one for you guys. This is Val Demings. Now she's a Democrat.
People ask me, Val, where do you get your tireless faith that things can always get better? I got it here.
Here she is mixing up the church and state that the liberals were always obsessing about. She's in front of a church.
In Jacksonville, Florida. When you grow up in the South, poor, black, and female, you have to have faith in progress and opportunity. My father was a janitor, and my mother was a maid. She said, Val, never grow tired of doing good. Never tired. Work hard, not just for yourself.
Okay, now see, this is what I'm talking about, okay? Have you heard her say she's a Democrat? And look at what she's wearing. She's wearing a red jacket. See? She's trying to make people think that she's Black MAGA. She's wearing a red jacket, not a blue jacket. She hasn't said she's a Democrat. See what I'm talking? And she's talking about Christianity. She's trying to pass herself, and she's running against Marco Rubio here in Florida. She's trying to pass herself off as a Republican.
But for others. So I went to Orlando to serve as a police officer.
Okay, so now she was a police officer and a police chief in Orlando, which is a liberal town and was a sanctuary city. Okay, now she's wearing a red jacket. She's talking about Christianity, has not said she's a Democrat. Now she's acting like she's pro-police, right? This is what I'm telling you. She's trying to pass as a Republican.
Met my husband and #1 partner in crime fighting, Sheriff Jerry Demings, I ended up serving 27 years. I just never got tired of it. Eventually, this working mom worked her way up to chief of police.
Orlando's violent crime this year is down.
Murders, robberies, aggravated assaults, total violent crime, all lower than a year ago.
Under her leadership, there has been the most dramatic decrease in violent crime in the...
Okay, now this is a bunch of nonsense. This is a bunch of nonsense, okay? First off, you know, it's just like in Parkland, that they before the shooting, people, we had a low crime rate. We found that they weren't arresting people. So if you don't arrest people, you don't have a crime on the books. It's called cooking the crime stats. But if you heard, here we are, we're 1 minute and 5 seconds into this. Have you heard her mention she's a Democrat?
City's history.
They said we never lower crime, but I said never tire. And after all that...
she's in blue now.
I still wasn't tired. So
See, this is what I'm talking about. Very, very confused. She doesn't want people to know what she is. What she is. Let me see if I can find some others. But that's typical of what I've been talking about here. Let me see here. See if we can find any of her other campaign ads. Hold on a second here. I'm not sure I can find the other one that I wanted to share. Let's see. Nah, that's the only one that's coming up right now. But I got to tell you something. You guys that subscribe to this channel and watch this channel got that story of her beating up her her security team beating up a guy with a camera. You guys got it out there in Politico. That's amazing. And believe me, left-wing Politico did not want to run with that story. Now, if you're new to my channel, please subscribe. And everyone, before you go, make sure you like the video. Because when you like the video, it recommends my content, this video and all my other contents, to people that have not yet discovered my channel. So I want people to find everything I do and bring more people to the channel so we can wake them up to all of these things. Thanks for watching, everyone. Again, my name's Brian Craig. I'll